The day I lost my inheritance was the day I stopped believing in family. It wasn't just the money. The $24 million was certainly worth grieving over. It was watching my sister Olivia's lips curl into a triumphant smirk as our father's lawyer read the will, knowing she had orchestrated everything while I sat helplessly by our dying father's bedside. I'm Alexandra Bennett, though most people know me as Alex. For years, I had worked alongside my father at Bennett Pharmaceuticals, turning our family's modest medical supply company into a powerhouse in the pharmaceutical industry. While Olivia spent her time attending society parties and collecting designer handbags, I was in the labs, developing new drug formulas and securing patents. To my daughter Olivia, Mr. Harrison read from behind his mahogany desk. I leave my entire estate, including all shares in Bennett Pharmaceuticals and associated holdings. The room fell silent. I sat there, unable to process what I just heard. This couldn't be right. Dad had always planned to split everything equally between us. He told me so countless times. There must be some mistake, I said, my voice barely steady. Dad promised. Oh, Alex, Olivia interrupted, examining her perfectly manicured nails. Daddy changed his mind. He realized who really deserved to run the company. I turned to Mr. Harrison. When was this change made? He shuffled uncomfortably through his papers. The will was amended 3 weeks ago while your father was in the hospital. 3 weeks ago, when I was in Boston presenting our latest research findings at a medical conference, when Olivia had insisted she would take care of everything. You manipulated him, I said, the realization hitting me like a physical blow. He was on heavy medication, barely lucid, and I simply helped Daddy make the right decision. Olivia stood, smoothing her designer dress. He knew you'd run the company into the ground with all your research projects and ethical concerns. She practically spat the word ethical like it was dirty. Those research projects have doubled our profit margins. I protested. The new cancer drug alone will take years to develop and cost millions, she cut in. Face it, Alex, you're too soft for this business. Always worried about helping people instead of making money. She gathered her things, then paused at the door. Oh, and you'll need to clear out your office by Friday. Enjoy being poor. Her laughter echoed down the hallway as she left, the sound burning into my memory like acid. I sat there long after everyone else had gone, staring at the wall of family photos in Mr. Harrison's office. Dad and me in the lab, celebrating our first major patent. Dad beaming at my college graduation, where I'd given the valedictorian speech, moments that now felt like they belonged to someone else's life. Miss Bennett, Mr. Harrison said softly, for what it's worth, I don't believe your father was in his right mind when he made these changes. I turned to him slowly. Can we fight it? He shook his head. The documents are legally binding. Olivia made sure everything was technically correct, even had 2 independent doctors certify your father's mental competency at the time. The Edison was an upscale bar downtown where business deals were made over $50 cocktails. I'd never been, it wasn't my scene, but James wouldn't reach out without a reason. At 9 p.m. sharp, I walked into the Edison, feeling underdressed in my work clothes among the suits and cocktail dresses. James sat in a corner booth, looking exactly as I remembered, brilliant mind hidden behind an unassuming exterior. Alex, he stood to greet me. Of course she did. Olivia might not understand pharmaceutical research, but she knew how to manipulate people and paperwork. I left the office in a daze, walking through the city streets as evening fell. 15 years of work gone, my future stolen. Even my apartment belonged to the company. I'd have to move out. That night, I sat in my soon-to-be former apartment, surrounded by boxes of research notes and patent applications. My phone kept buzzing with messages from colleagues who'd heard the news. Some expressed shock and sympathy. Others, sensing which way the wind was blowing, had already started sucking up to Olivia. I was about to turn off my phone when a different kind of message caught my eye. It was from Dr. James Chen, my old research partner who left to start his own biotech company 2 years ago. Heard what happened. Need to talk. Urgent. Meet me at the Edison, 9 p.m. I'm so sorry about everything. I slid into the booth. Thanks, but somehow I doubt you called me here just to offer condolences. He smiled slightly. No, I called because I have a proposition for you. He slid a folder across the table. I've been following your research on targeted drug delivery systems, It's brilliant work. Work that Olivia won't understand or appreciate. I opened the folder. Inside was a job offer, not just any job offer, but a position as head of research at his company, Nova Biotech. James, I don't know what to say. Say yes. Your sister may have stolen your inheritance, but she can't steal your brilliance. The patents you developed, the research you've done, that's all documented with your name on it. I stared at the papers, hope flickering for the first time since the will reading. Olivia will never allow it. There will be non-compete clauses, legal challenges. James leaned forward, his voice low. Let me worry about the legal side. What you don't know is that Nova Biotech has been quietly buying shares in various pharmaceutical companies through shell corporations. We're building something big, Alex. Something that could change everything. I took a sip of my drink, thinking, why are you telling me this? Because I need someone I can trust. Someone who understands both the science and the business. Someone who knows how to build something from nothing. He paused. Someone like you. I looked around the bar, at all the people making deals and plotting strategies. For the first time, I understood why Olivia loved this world of power plays and corporate maneuvering. When do I start? The next morning, I walked into Bennett Pharmaceuticals one last time. Security watched as I packed up my office, 15 years of work fitting into 3 cardboard boxes. As I reached the lobby, Olivia emerged from the elevator. Off to join the unemployment line? She asked sweetly. I hear the coffee shop down the street is hiring baristas. I met her gaze steadily. Goodbye, Olivia. I hope you know what you're doing. She laughed. Oh, I do. I'm going to turn this company into something spectacular. No more wasting money on research that might never pay off. We're going to focus on profit, pure and simple. I said nothing, just walked out into the bright morning sunlight. Let her think she won. Let her believe I was finished. Because what Olivia didn't know, what she'd never bothered to learn, was that the pharmaceutical industry was changing. The future wasn't in cutting corners and chasing quick profits. It was in innovation, in the kind of research she dismissed as a waste of money. And I was about to prove it. 2 years can change everything. In my case, it changed me from a disinherited researcher into someone my sister would never see coming. Nova Biotech grew exponentially under James's leadership and my research direction. The targeted drug delivery system I'd been developing at Bennett Pharmaceuticals. We perfected it within 18 months. 3 major patents later, our company's value had skyrocketed from $100 million to over $2 billion. But I kept my name out of the press, working behind the scenes while James handled the public face of the company. As far as Olivia knew, I had disappeared into obscurity. I learned about Bennett Pharmaceuticals' troubles through industry whispers. Olivia had done exactly what she promised, chased quick profits over sustainable research. She cut the research department to a skeleton crew, raised prices on essential medications, and started pushing questionable products through rushed trials. It was all going perfectly according to her plan until the FDA launched an investigation into their testing protocols. Then came the class action lawsuits from patients. The stock price plummeted. Suddenly, Bennett Pharmaceuticals needed a miracle or a merger with a stronger company to stay afloat. That's when James walked into my office with a smile I come to recognize. They're desperate, he said, dropping a folder on my desk. Bennett Pharmaceuticals is looking for a buyer. And guess who owns 43% of their outstanding shares through our shell companies? I picked up the folder, my heart racing. Us. More specifically, Orion Ventures, our investment arm that no one knows is connected to Nova Biotech. He sat down across from me. Olivia's been reaching out to every major player in the industry. Tomorrow, she's meeting with Orion's representatives to discuss a potential merger. I stared at him. You mean? Yes. Tomorrow, your sister will be pitching her company to you, though she won't know it's you. The meeting's set for 2 p.m. Care to take this one personally? That night, I could barely sleep. I stood in front of my closet, finally selecting the outfit I'd wear to face my sister. A perfectly tailored black suit that cost more than my old monthly salary. The kind of power suit Olivia would appreciate. Right before it crushed her. The next day, I arrived early at Orion's downtown offices. James had arranged everything perfectly. A corner conference room with a view of the city, my name on the door, reading simply A. Phoenix, Managing Director. At exactly 2 p.m., my assistant shoved them in. Olivia entered first, followed by her CFO and legal team. She'd lost weight since I'd last seen her, stress evident beneath her expensive makeup. "Thank you for meeting with us, Ms. Phoenix," she began smoothly, but faltered as she saw my face. The color drained from hers. "Hello, Olivia," I said quietly. "Please have a seat." "Alex," she whispered. "What? What are you doing here?" "I'm the managing director of Orion Ventures, the company that owns 43% of Bennett Pharmaceuticals shares." I gestured to the chairs again. "Shall we discuss the merger proposal?" Her lawyers exchanged worried glances. They hadn't prepared for this. "This is ridiculous," Olivia snapped, trying to regain her composure. "You can't possibly, you're not." I opened a folder and began laying out documents. "Actually, I am. Now let's talk about Bennett Pharmaceuticals' current situation. Your latest FDA audit shows significant compliance issues. The class action lawsuits could cost upwards of $100 million. And your research pipeline?" I clicked through slides on the presentation screen. Completely dry. "We've had some setbacks," her CFO admitted. "But with proper investment—" "You've had more than setbacks," I interrupted. "You've destroyed everything our father built. He believed in helping people, in advancing medical science. You turned it into a profit machine with no regard for consequences." Olivia's face hardened. "That's business, Alex. Something you never understood." "No," I stood up slowly. "Business is understanding that long-term success comes from innovation and integrity, not quick profits. Something you never understood." I walked to the window, looking out at the city skyline. Nova Biotech just received FDA approval for its targeted cancer therapy. The one you called a waste of money. It's projected to generate $3 billion in annual revenue while helping millions of patients. Her eyes widened. "Nova Biotech, you mean?" "Yes, I'm also the chief research officer there. Orion Ventures is our investment arm." I turned back to face her. "So now you have a choice, Olivia. You can either accept our merger offer, which will effectively give us controlling interest in Bennett Pharmaceuticals, or you can watch your stock price fall to zero when we dump our shares on the open market." The room was silent except for the soft hum of air conditioning. Olivia's hands trembled slightly as she reached for her water glass. "You've been planning this," she said finally. "All this time." "No, I've been building something meaningful. The fact that it put me in position to save Dad's company from you is just karma." Her lawyers huddled together, whispering urgently. They knew as well as I did that she had no choice. "What are your terms?" she asked, her voice barely audible. I slid a document across the table. "You step down as CEO. All research programs will be reinstated. The company returns to its original mission of advancing medical science while maintaining ethical business practices. And what happens to me? You get to keep your trust fund and your lifestyle. But you'll never work in this industry again." She stared at the papers for a long moment. "I could fight this." "You could try." I smiled slightly. "But we both know how that would end." 3 hours later, I watched from my office window as Olivia left the building. She looked small now, nothing like the triumphant sister who had laughed at my misfortune 2 years ago. James appeared in my doorway. "Congratulations. Bennett Pharmaceuticals is back where it belongs." I nodded, thinking of all the times Dad and I had discussed the company's future. "We'll restore the research division first. There are brilliant scientists there who just need the right leadership and resources." And Olivia? She got what she wanted. Wealth without responsibility. She just had to lose everything else to keep it. That evening, I visited Dad's grave for the first time since the funeral. I placed a copy of Nova Biotech's latest research paper beside his headstone. "We did it, Dad. The cancer drug works. It's going to help so many people." I touched the cold marble gently. "And Bennett Pharmaceuticals will too, once again. I promise." As I walked back to my car, my phone buzzed with a message. The Bennett Pharmaceuticals board had unanimously approved the merger. In the attached photo of the signing ceremony, Olivia's empty chair was barely visible in the background. Sometimes karma works in mysterious ways. Sometimes it takes 2 years, multiple shell companies, and billions of dollars in strategic investments. But eventually, it all comes full circle. I thought about the day Olivia told me to enjoy being poor. I wasn't poor anymore. More importantly, I had built something meaningful, something that would help people for generations to come. That night, I moved Dad's old family photos from my apartment to my new office at Bennett Pharmaceuticals. They belong there, reminding everyone who walked in that success isn't measured by profit margins alone. Olivia still shows up in the society pages occasionally, at charity galas and fashion shows. She never mentions Bennett Pharmaceuticals or her brief tenure as CEO. Some stories, I suppose, are better left untold. But I tell this one because it's important to remember. True success isn't about inheritance or even revenge. It's about staying true to your principles and building something worthwhile. The fact that karma sometimes helps along the way, well, that's just a satisfying bonus.